What did you like about the documentary?
Can I start?
Yep.
Yeah. Documentary, I liked the structure of it. I liked the way it was introduced. It had what I would call a start, a middle and an ending. I liked the range of people that you'd got on there. The fact that you'd spoken to people on the street, people like us, and then you'd also then sort of backed up that information with professionals, psychologists, counsellors and that sort of thing. And the whole thing flowed very, very well. Anyone else?
I think that it was like very well put together. The editing was obviously thought out very well, and I think that you use people from the college, so you're using like our own age, and then you obviously went to the person who knew what he was doing in the youth sense, and then people in the street, which shows like difference in like
sort of general things.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good, informative. I like the fact that there were young people and older people, such as ourselves, in it. I thought it was very good.
Looking at it from like camera production, there was a wide range of shots in it, which like increased its authenticity towards an existing documentary on the market. If I looked at something like Fault Lines, they've got mid shots, long shots, group shots, establishing shots, and yours included all of those things, which made it look realistic.
Is there anything about the documentary you would change or that we could improve on?
I think for me the only thing that I would perhaps say is that when the people were holding the boards up, there perhaps wasn't quite enough time to read what everyone had said. But going back to your first question, I found it interesting in the way that you showed people talking, then you played a scene, and you went back to people talking and played a scene, breaking it up, which captured my attention. I forgot to say that earlier.
In respect to criticisms, I can only say the same as Debbie, which is I struggled watching the parts where people were holding up cards, because I held it up and I started to read it and then they were gone. So that was more of an editing thing, I think. It was just edited out a little bit too quickly. And there were some issues with sound on it. So if I was watching it as a proper documentary, on the telly, let's say, then I would say that doesn't sound very good, or that particular bit doesn't sound very good. But that would be it. It would be more of a production problem rather than you know, the way you've done the documentary. It's more of a skills thing, I think. So apart from that, I couldn't find anything wrong with it.
I agree with the sound. When the music came on, it like faded in very well, but sometimes it was just like cut short when it like changed scenes. So maybe if it's faded in, did the scene, then faded out, like it might have like flowed a bit better, maybe.
For me, maybe there was just a little too much found footage. The topic that was being discussed, stereotypes, I think filling shots were quite easy to get, and there were quite a few in there, but maybe I think there were filling shots of real life events that could have portrayed the same information as shots that you didn't record yourself.
One other thing, just as I recall it, when you have a professional on the telly, they're very often introduced, you know, by a narrator. So, you know, we went and found, like you mentioned something about Dwayne, we tracked down a youth worker, but you didn't introduce the others, so you didn't say, you know, this is a counsellor from the college.
Yeah. We introduced Neil and Mike.
Yeah, but you didn't introduce the counsellor, so for continuity, every one of them should have been introduced, whereas I don't think the counsellor was.
Okay.
Yep.
What did you like about the radio trailer?
It was well, I'll go first. It was very relevant. Obviously, you had talking in a chav voice, and so it was obviously connected to the documentary, and you watched it, and it made you want to find out more about it. Yeah.
I thought it was good because it was unique. I haven't heard a radio trailer like that before, and although the task required you to follow connotations of existing products, I think almost by making up a new connotation of your own, you almost, you know, I think that's a very positive thing that you've been able to do. Like, make it sound authentic whilst creating also like a subgenre of your own, which I think is very good.
I enjoyed listening to it. Again, it held my attention. I like the different use of languages, the different style of people talking on it. The fact that you've got boys and girls, that made it quite interesting and made me want to listen to more.
Yeah, same. I like the use of boys and girls on there and the different kind of dialects. I did find it amusing. I thought it was quite funny. But as I mentioned earlier, that could be because I knew it was my son putting on that chavvy voice. So if I hadn't have known that, would I have known it was my son doing the chavvy voice, or would I have thought that really is a sort of chav? But I still found it amusing. You could tell it wasn't definite chav speak. It was somebody with a scripted chav speak, and I found it amusing, and amusing things hold my attention. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's good.
Where could we have improved on the radio trailer?
For me, I don't think you could have. I think it was spot on.
I agree.
Thinking about it, it was very good in the chav voice, but maybe if you when you talked about watch the programme this time or tune into our documentary or what, I reckon you could have like put on a more serious tone, maybe just for like differentiating like seriousness and, you know, having a not a laugh but that kind of thing. So
yeah, I could probably agree with that actually. The introduction into the programme at the end, you know, come and watch this programme, could have maybe been done in a serious voice, because it is a serious programme.
What did you think of the the magazine article?
I thought it was good again. I enjoyed the layout of it. I read it, and it was scripted professionally. It didn't come across, even though I knew it was, as being written by 17 and 18-year-olds people. It was well written. Pictures were good on it. Enjoyed the imagery of it. I liked the main picture with the range of different people on the wall. Well, I enjoyed it. So it was good.
Could you pull out some specific features of the article that were good?
I liked in the written article, it wasn't like a story. It was like, you know, you had all kinds of like metaphors and similes, you know, making serious points about, you know, chavs, and kind of like, it didn't explain all of it. It kind of left you wanting to read more and watch more. So
I thought there were little features that made it authentic. Page numbers, headlines, pull quotes, that kind of thing. All the little things that make it look like a real product, which is the whole point of making it, which is good.
I like the use of colour, the way it was laid out. And I also like the picture of the different people against the wall. I like the Judgment Day and the way of the style of writing on it. It's quite eye-catching. It made me want to read it.
And was there anything on the magazine article that you didn't like or thought could be changed to make it better?
The one thing for me, a lot of the documentary and the radio trailer is situated around chavs, and in the magazine, in the main image, there isn't actually a representation of a chav. We've got emos, rockers, hipsters, homosexuals. It seems like there's a bit of a missing link with a chav missing. Yeah.
I thought it was bang on. I don't really have anything you could change.
Okay. There was actually there was a side image of a chav, but it wasn't in the main image.
Yeah.
So would you have moved it into the main image?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, maybe had a chav in the middle of, because it seems like the other two products, although it is only an ancillary task, it seems like the other two products are, you know, this episode is about chavs in the documentary, so maybe it could have been a bit more centralised around that topic.
Yeah.
Are we criticising? Are we allowed to criticise the layout of the article as well? Then,
anything about it?
Well, the one thing I would say then is, as you read the article, when you got to the end of the article, because it was only the bottom half of the page, and there was I think there was a quote in yellow, and then the sentencing had to go around that, and it didn't flow very well around that image. And if you looked at the article, you'd probably see what I mean, which is it kind of read along and then you jumped down a bit, it read along, then it went to the top and went across a little bit, then it was small, and it almost tried to go around that final quote, and I didn't think that worked very well. But that's a layout issue, certainly nothing wrong with the narrative. But
The layout issues are relative.
that was a layout issue.
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
still a good
So,
criticism.
just you'll see what I mean if you have a look at it, I think.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. So overall, as like a package, what would you say it was good, or would you say it was average?
Yeah, I would say it's very good, yeah.
Very authentic. You wouldn't know
Very
it's for a college task or coursework. If I saw it on TV, I think I'll be interested in.
It did what it was meant to do, which was introduce you to the programme with the magazine article. I would have chosen to go and watch that programme if I'd have read the article. I would have chosen to go and watch that article if I'd have heard the advert. So that means it was successful.
And out of the 3 products, which would you say was the most successful?
I'd personally say the the documentary, because there's obviously a lot of background stuff you have to do. Obviously, you had to find Dwayne, the social worker, does charity work, and it, you had to find different people to interview, and it was clear that a lot of hard work and time was put into it. So
Yeah, I'd agree with the documentary, because obviously a lot of research went into that.
I mean,
I wouldn't. I'd say that the magazine advert was the best.
looking at it as in in a visual term, which did you most enjoy? That's what I mean.
Well, obviously you're going to enjoy the programme, the documentary, because that's what the other two are just a small taster of the documentary, aren't they? They're just a very small introduction of it. If I was to look at the products out of the 3 products that you produced, I think the magazine one is the closest to being what a professional would have put in a magazine.
I think obviously you can't look at the radio trailer visually because it's not a visual product, it's an audio product, and I thought that was the best thing about the package, because it was so unique, different, yet still put the point across well, advertise the product but in a different way, which is good.
Yeah, it was very, very professional,
Okay.
all of it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
cheers.